Guys, welcome to Love Me Some Cooking with Vicki, and today we're going to make spaghetti and meatballs and a homemade cheesy garlic bread. So today we're going to go ahead and get started with our meatballs. Right now I have a pound of ground pork and a pound of ground chuck. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in my bowl. I open it first. And this is going to make about, I don't know, 36 to 40 meatballs, and I'm going to use half in this sauce and I'll use the half the next on another day, and I'll freeze the others. So we've got our pork, pound of that, pound of our ground chuck, put that bad boy in there. Alright, and then what we're going to add to this to flavor it is, of course, a little kosher salt. Now, like I've said before, we are just cooking, not baking, so just a sprinkly dink. It's good. And a little garlic pepper, because you know I love me some garlic. Alright. And we've got basil. Most of this is going to go in our sauce. A little oregano. And here's that wonderful ingredient, fennel seed. So I'm going to use about a palmful of it. That's what, about a tablespoon. I'm going to put that in there. Now I'm going to give a little bit of some Worcestershire, however you want to pronounce that. Nobody can say that right, can they? I think that's about a tablespoon. And then an egg. It's going to act as a binder for our meatballs. And some Japanese panko breadcrumbs. These are not like the ones that say Italian breadcrumbs. Look at, I think we've talked about this before, but they're fluffier. I mean, look at that. It's like, they're so cute. They're so pretty. So I'm just going to use about a quarter cup of that. That's just going to help all of our meatballs stick together. Now, here's some wonderful, wonderful garlic and onion that I've chopped up. That's about, I'd say, 4 tablespoons of chopped fresh garlic, and 1 whole sweet Vidalia onion that I've already sauteed up, and I'm going to use half of this in my meatball mixture and the other half in my sauce. So that's why I've already got it prepared in advance. So I'm just going to split it. And since we're going to be working with our hands for a second, I'd advise you guys to do the same thing so that you guys can get it cooled down a little bit before you go in here with your hands. So we've got our sauce. We're going to work with our sauce in a second, and now we're ready for our meatballs. So I'm going to break it up a little bit with a wooden spoon, and then I'm going to have to go in after it. And one last thing, in order to make these really juicy, I'm going to put just a little bit, I mean probably less than a quarter cup of water in here. Just straight from the top. Count to 3. 1, 2, 3. There's your quarter cup. So I'm going to mix this up. Make sure that egg breaks up. And I've got my oven preheated to 400 degrees. And we're going to bake these in the oven for 20 minutes. And then we're going to put half of them aside for another dish, or another time to put in the freezer, and then use half in our sauce. That's pretty easy, right? I mean, look at how many people could you impress with this? Your boss, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, I don't care who. But, I mean, this is pretty neat. And oh, my house smells so good just from that alone. Can't wait for this. I love me some garlic. Alright, so got it ready, got it mixed. Now I gotta go in after with my hands. Okay? Don't overwork your meatball. Freebie. But get in there with your hands and get it mixed up. Okay, make sure you're incorporating the onion garlic mixture. Don't sling it all over your kitchen either. Okay, so I'm ready to go. Now I'm just going to make little golf ball size ones. I don't like them big. Alright, so just about that size, okay? And then I'm going to plop them right on my cookie tray that I've got lined with the Reynolds Wrap non-stick aluminum foil, my bad, sorry. Put that on there. If you don't have that, like I said before, I mean, you can just grease a cookie sheet, but I'm just going to make cleanup easier for myself by using that. Alright guys, well, I lied to you. I went ahead, just for the sake of the show, to make them a little bit bigger, I went ahead and made 26. That's 13 though for each dish. So that's one for this one for next one. So let's go ahead and get these in the oven. It'll be about 20 minutes, okay? Same time. Okay guys, now we've got our meatballs in the oven and we're going to get started on this homemade sauce. Now let me tell you what is so wonderful about this meal is that, first of all, we're going to make a homemade sauce with meatballs in it, right? And then we're going to have some frozen for another time. So that's 2 meals just for prepping for one. But also what I like to do is I like to scoop out a cup of just my sauce during the weekday without any meatballs in it and put that aside for chicken parmesan for later in the week. And then when you have, when you got the smaller meatballs left over in there, you can grind that down and go ahead and make a meat sauce after your family's kind of sick and tired of meatballs for a day or two. Grind that down and make a homemade lasagna with that, and that way you've got your meat sauce. So see, that's 4 meals stretched in, or 4 meals out of 1. So that's fantastic. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to start off with some tomato puree. Now remember, in here we have the other half of our garlic and our onion mixture. So tomato puree is just tomatoes and salt. That's all that's in this. And it's a little bit thicker than tomato sauce. And it's hearty. It's fantastic. And then 1 can of tomato sauce, 14.5 ounce can. And then to that, we're going to go ahead and add 3 cans of tomatoes. Now this one is just whatever I had in my stinking pantry, for crying out loud. This one is diced Italian style from Kroger's, sauce and all. And since I've cleaned out my pantry, I've got 2 that don't have any spices in it. That's okay, we're going to put some in. And what I mean by spice is not hot, but our basil and oregano. And 1 more. Alright. Now, I'm going to add a half a can of this beef broth, just half a can. This will make this sauce taste like you have been an old Italian lady and had this simmer on your stovetop for hours. So just half a can. Fantastic. And then, 1 little 6-ounce canister of tomato paste. McCormick Thick and Hearty spaghetti sauce mix, but you know, go ahead, or thick and zesty, but use whatever you want. And also lifted onion soup mix. In here, we are going to put in just a little bit more fennel seed, not much. I mean, I'm talking like just a sniff of it, because we got a lot of it in the meatball. And we're going to put about a good palmful size of oregano. Same thing with the basil. A little salt. And a little garlic pepper. And that's our sauce. So all we have to do is just heat it up. You can't get much simpler than that, right? So after we get this going, we're going to take our meatballs out, put half of them, which will be 13 for today's meal, in our sauce. The other half on a paper-lined paper towel, let them drain and cool so we can freeze them. And then we'll go ahead and get started on our garlic bread. I'll see you guys back here soon. Alright. Do you hear that sizzle? Don't those look wonderful? Nice and brown, ready to go. So like I said, we're going to put 13 in here. This made 26 and 13 over here. 2. 20 minutes, that's all that took. Isn't that phenomenal? So I'm going to put this back to the stove and we'll get started on our garlic bread. We're just going to let this simmer. Now we're going to start our garlic bread. So in this bowl I have 5 tablespoons of softened butter. I have about 6 garlic cloves that I've minced up myself out of that little jar. And I've got some flat leaf parsley, about a 1/4 cup. Flat leaf parsley looks like this. Okay, it's not that curly kind that always came on the ponderosa steak at the end. That's what we're working with, the flat leaf. That's what you want. And I chopped it up real fine and I put this in here. Now all I'm going to do is microwave it and then baste my pre-cut bread. Now I cut it. And I cut it all the way down to the bottom. I didn't cut it all the way through so it'll hold in that goodness. And then we're going to add some provolone cheese on top. So all I have to do is microwave this. That's pretty easy, right? So I'm just going to put paper towel over it, stuff, put it in the microwave for about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. So I just pulled this out a minute and a half. It's got it good and melted, and I'm just going to put a little bit in each cut that I have here. This smells so wonderful, by the way. Alright, now what I'm going to do, I've got a little bit that I'm going to smear on the end. But I've taken 8 pieces of provolone cheese, right there from Kroger, and I'm just halving them and sticking a half a moon, if you will, in each one of these cuts that I have that has the parsley, garlic, and butter concoction in it. And yet again, I'm using non-stick wrapping here, so it's not going to stick. So it's going to be just fantastic. Alright, so it only took 6 pieces of provolone. So I'm just going to not waste a bit and baste this on top. Wonderful garlic butter parsley mixture. This is the best tasting garlic butter or garlic bread you'll ever eat. Alright. Now I'm just going to fold in the ends, so make sure you're using a piece that's longer than the bread you're using. Just remember the cheese size up. Now we're just going to put the garlic bread in the preheated 400-degree oven that we already pulled the meatballs out of. Put this in there for 15 minutes until the cheese is melted. Alright guys, we've got our garlic bread out. Look at how beautiful and cheesy this is. Get half of that out here. Oh, I love me some cheese. Oh, mercy. And then you just cut through your slices. Look at that. Oh my gosh, does that not look so good? And then just pile them up. So there's our garlic bread. Now, let's go ahead and finish up with our spaghetti. So, I made a pound of spaghetti, boiled it in salt water, and what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take a little bit of the sauce without any meat in it, just put a little bit on here, and then I'm going to take 2 forks and still try to make it look nice, you know, so I don't splatter all over the place. Just try to get some of the red sauce to cover the noodles. Alright, that looks good. And now I'm going to put some of my sauce with my meatballs on top. And just to really make it look fancy, I'm going to just julienne some basil, just for the top. And what that is I just bought the little basil in the packet, fresh basil. I'm going to take a couple pieces, and then there's the leaves, put them on top of each other, and then roll them real tight, like in a sleeping bag. And then when you've got this little package, take your knife and cut across it this way. And it makes these little ribbons. My cheese got stuck to it. So how pretty does this look? I don't know a man in this world that does not like a hearty plate of spaghetti and meatballs. So guys, like I said, I don't care what your background is, your cooking background, your life story, I don't care. You can, because there's no excuse. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.